everyone. Thanks for joining us on Here for Beer. This is Jay.
Jay,
This is
Lee.
Thank you. And it's Beer Week here in San Francisco, but of course for this one,
Yay, Beer Week.
we're going to talk about a real beer, huh?
I do this.
It's not beer. It's root beer. It's about the rise of, I
The
guess,
root beer trend, the root beer craze, the
craze,
hard root beer, alcoholic root beer,
because I think we really have to say, maybe even from the start here,
spiked root beer, root
Yeah.
beer like beverage with alcohol.
it's not beer. I think we got to say that.
All right,
It's soda. But
it's alcoholic soda.
it's alcoholic soda. But I think what we really have to start with is that
That's why
root beer
I do this episode under protest.
under protest. That's right. You should have the.
It'll be by the officials. We'll rule on it later.
That's right. It's not an armband. Armband's in memoriam of it. I don't know what you do it in protest.
Okay,
But either way,
meandering.
root beer started as beer, really, or as a small beer, and that was one of the big things. Is that they had the small beers out there, anything that was sort of 2 to 12%, although 12% is pretty good for a beer. But there were small beers out there, especially with the early colonists coming to the United States, and really, it was all about just trying to make what they could out of beer. And they were using barks, they were using roots, they were using just really anything they could for leaves and try and make beer. So there was the popular ginger beers, there was sarsaparilla, and of course,
So when Bugs Bunny goes to the saloon and says, "Give me a sarsaparilla," he's really ordering an alcoholic drink, not a soda pop.
he is. Bugs Bunny ain't no sissy.
Freaking out.
But again, part of it was the popular collective term of root beer really made a lot of people just ask for things like root beer, which is where a lot of that really, again, got the popularity. But where root beer really had that transition away from beer into a soda was somewhere in the late 1800s. There was the failed attempt by someone to try and make really medicinal, try and make it
Originally,
more,
though, it was a Native American medicinal drink, right?
correct, yes. I guess it was Native American where they were actually using a blend of roots, leaves, and all the other things that they could find, different spices, and it was medicinal.
Buffalo dung.
I'm sure that was.
I don't know.
for
I just
sure.
made that part up.
It could have been, and if not, I'm sure there's.
They used all the parts of the buffalo.
Yes, you got all. Not rooter suitor. That's not for buffalo. That's,
No,
a
that's
pig.
not true anyway.
Yes, but either way, they took what someone did was try and take all the ingredients that was in a small beer, root beer version, and tried to make it more of a tea or something medicinal, and it didn't go off very well until in 1876 or prior to 1876, someone by the name of Charles Hires or Charles Hires, people are going for
What?
300 DPI. Just kidding. He really again stole that recipe, brought it over to his pharmacy and everything in Philadelphia, and that's where it really took off, where he was trying to sell it as at first root tea is what he was trying to go after, and of course he wanted to market it more towards like the laborers and miners and everything like that. So he decided
They didn't
to
want
call-
to drink tea.
they didn't want to drink tea. They wanted something that was beer, so he changed it back to root beer, even though what he was making was not alcoholic for it. So that's really where the transition happened. He was selling a lot of the syrups or the packets for the tea to a lot of people. It was getting very popular, but it wasn't until later in 1893 where he decided to bottle it. Just make it
Wow.
himself, so it wasn't selling the packs and just sell it in a bottle, and that's where root beer as a soda really took off, and root beer as a beer kind of went away.
You really know your root beer.
Well, because, I love that fake beer.
The original root beer must be a lot like the root beer we find today, right?
Hells no. What did we find today?
We
Stuff
find
like that.
this, which is the first kind of root beer or hard root beer that started the craze.
And I will clearly say that it sucks after the second drink.
It says ale, but I think
know.
it's mislabeled. If this were well, they say this is one of the top 30 selling craft beers, but I think it's dubious to call it a craft beer or beer at all.
I think that's something we should do tasting wise.
Brought to you by the people that brought you Four Loko, now owned by Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Here you go. The chain lives on.
There's been experts that have visited the brewery and talked to the brew people and say they don't have the knowledge or equipment in order to make this a true beer.
And I think after tasting it, we can probably agree.
Well, let's not be so. I mean,
Well, what else do we have here in terms of the hard root beer and that craze?
Here's the Coney Island,
Which I learned today was Sam Adams.
right?
So,
Look for more. Beat is making a hard root beer now. Anheuser-Busch is making hard sodas. They're gonna make a root beer soon. Miller Coors is making one.
What else did we get to try and taste today?
There's a California one, smaller brewery, Mission Brewing is that in San Diego?
That's Southern California, yeah. Safe to say. What are we truly going to try and taste test, though, also, about root beer?
My theory is that a bottle of Faygo root beer with a shot of vodka in it is going to taste better than any of these, or at least as good.
Well, I think we need to quantify also that we've had this, and again, first drink.
But I've never had this.
These ones here. First drink, acceptable, passable. Second drink, getting worse. Third and fourth drink, making you sick.
Let's get some glasses out and check this out. Huh?
Well, how can we make that a little better, maybe? I think we maybe put some.
Oh yeah, this is a recommended way to drink it.
Put some ice cream in there.
Well, here you want to pour those.
I'll start pouring some of these here. Excuse all the scrambling of sounds here.
Let's see. This is gonna be interesting.
All right. Of course, this is all gonna. I mean, color, all the definition, everything from it. There's no smell or anything from it. All of it's gonna just smell incredibly saccharine sweet.
Well, who knows?
It's true. We haven't tried these two.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for Sam Adams, so.
All right, I won't be so pessimistic from the start.
Let's see that hop just died.
Smell the sweetness already. This one, well, let's line this up. There's the mission.
I should give you a blind taste test with this so you can try a.
Alright, I didn't memorize the cups.
So I did the math to figure out how much vodka I would need to make the same alcohol. And then I decided, what the hell, I'm just going to put the whole shot in there.
That's the only way to go.
Since we don't, I'm going to put this in our...
You put that one in?
The vodka label in our...
The vodka label, yes. We'll save these other ones for something else.
What have you got? What have you got?
Do we have some ice cream?
Yeah.
Candy? So I think what we'll have to do is drop that one in there.
What?
That's the...
No, that goes there and
Yes.
we'll put the ice cream. This one's a little bigger.
Wait, the ice cream's got to be this one, right? Alcohol ice cream. No?
That's just plain. You
Alright.
can drink that one on your own because you love it so much.
Yes. This one's so lovely.
This, Not Your Father's root beer is made in Illinois by Small Town Brewing, which is kind of Orwellian when you know that they're owned by Four Loko.
Or my Paps.
But I decided to get the Faygo root beer to compare it to some little Midwestern pride. So you can see they're all flat. What is that one there? It's still got a little bit of head.
That's Coney Island. The best recommended one from...
So if I can be philosophical for a while.
Sure, I'm going to put
about
I'm going to hide this one in a cozy that was given to us by Carter from Pizza Port.
Actually, that looks pretty good.
That's good. It's falling up.
This is kind of beer for people that don't like beer. Like, I really appreciate this whole trend in artisanal cocktails, pre-prohibition cocktails, because I can't understand when people say, like, a lot of people drink these hard root beers and say, oh, you can't even taste the alcohol. Well, I say, then what's the point? Like, you should really appreciate the different kinds of alcohol, the alcohol flavor, especially if you, this is going crazy. It's like a third grade volcano experiment.
Put some baking soda in it. Well, again, what they're really appreciating with those cocktails is getting wasted and getting sugared up and,
if you just want to get this is what happened to you.
With the Guinness Nitro can. How is that actually? This should be the first taste test actually.
I don't know, but I'm gonna need a.
That's all right. We'll tilt the table this way. I don't know about that.
I think it's the best way I've had it.
At least it gets a creamy factor to it. I don't want to taste that again, to be honest. The Not Your Father's. And I know it's really popular and it's
We usually have napkins.
damn everywhere, from even Blueprint Bar that we went to today.
Everybody that's is like craft beers has probably tried one of these hard root beers already.
Yes. Well, now's your chance to also try.
This has more of an alcohol scent.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna be eager to try that one.
There's a lot going on here, so I think what we should do is like maybe make a chart with a more in-depth review from each of us about all these here, and Lee will put it in the video right now.
Yeah, we'll drop that in there because obviously the color, as you'll see, is pretty much gonna be the same for all of them. There really is no smell other than sugar sweetness.
It's kind of right. This is really syrupy. It's kind of cloying. A little bit of clove. Is this the what is this one? This has more spice.
That one's the Coney Island. That's the one that was recommended as the best from someone who's tried.
Well, this one I think is more. It's just more syrupy.
Good luck with that. And I've got the Pizza Port brand again, courtesy of Carter. Just kidding. This is the Mission Brewery. Let me try this Coney Island.
This smells better. It has more of a forward vanilla flavor. They're all, of course, just.
Well, you barely get a smell out of any of these, but
I don't like this one at all.
Even less than not your
This
father.
is my least favorite one. It tastes like you're sucking on cloves.
Well, we're about to try it. I've not yet tried the Coney Island, but I'm actually looking forward to the one in front of you.
Yeah. So the best one probably is the float.
So far, I would say the float one. Although I do like the Coney Island better than I'll try that eventually. But I've already
If you're
tried
gonna
that
do
before.
that, we can put.
Yes,
I'm getting so wet now.
that's right. Because you're so excited about the beer.
Oh
The
man,
beer.
hard root beer makes me like that.
Yes. And this one's, I think, again, I don't want to try and preach out of vodka, but
This is a freaking mess.
actually, this tastes, I think, probably the closest to Not Your Father's.
Well, because my theory is that they just put syrup and alcohol together. It's the Zima. In the 80s, in the wine, since my background originally was more in winemaking, in the 80s, White Zinfandel took off. And the industry used to call that pink gold. Because it was fast, it was cold, people that didn't like wine drank it, sold a ton.
Yes.
And this is kind of like what this is, but I'm wondering if hard root beer is around to stay, or if it's gonna go like Zima and just be hot for a while and fade away.
I think after all this tasting, I either want the vodka or the Coney Island.
Really, I think, to be honest, the vodka one and the ice cream one are the best.
Oh, the ice cream. I take that back. Yes. Let's get more ice cream for that. Well, I think this is, again, is kind of a concise, really display of the fact that hard root beer, is it here to stay? I personally hope that it fades a little bit. I mean, there's hard sodas and everything going around, but the hard root beer craze, just get some root beer. I mean, root beer floats are good if you want the sweetness.
If
Throw
you
some
want root
alcohol
beer,
in there.
drink root beer. If you want beer,
Yeah.
drink beer.
This is not beer. I think that's clear and safe to say. Alright. Well, that's it from us. So, again, feel free to leave comments in the bottom, but thanks again for tuning in to Here for Beer. We'll clean up this mess over here, but for now, this is Jay.
This is Lee.
Try to throw you off there. And keep watching.
Support your local brewery, even if they make hard root beer.
So.